What happens when an online feud turns into a real-life murder? On June 8, 2025, YouTube streamer Finney the Legend and his wife Bubbly were shot dead near the Bellagio Fountains, live on stream. Their alleged killer, fellow YouTuber City Manny Wise, with whom they shared a years-long digital rivalry. In the heart of the Las Vegas Strip, 7 gunshots shattered the night and shocked the online world. This is the true story behind the viral Vegas YouTuber murder, where clout, ego, and hate turned deadly. Rodney Finley, better known online as Finney the Legend, was just a guy who loved sharing the buzz of Las Vegas with the world. He and his wife, Tanisha Bubbly Finley, broadcast live streams of their nightly adventures from the Las Vegas Strip, whether it was street performers, casino lights, or random encounters with tourists. Finny and Bubbly were there with cameras and smiles, giving their audience a glimpse of the city's heartbeat. They weren't just content creators. They were part of a growing community of real-time streamers. People loved their cheerful nature and the way they stayed upbeat no matter what. For many fans, Finny and Bubbly felt like familiar friends. On the other end of the internet world was Manuel Ruiz, who called himself City Manny Wise. Like Finny, he was based in Las Vegas and often streamed live. But Manny Wise's style was quite different. His content was more intense, more dramatic, and usually aggressive. While Bubbly and Finny tried to make friends, Manny Wise enjoyed challenging others. Although he was offensive to some and entertaining to others, there was no denying that he had an immense online following at some point. Naturally, their worlds collided. Both were aiming for the same online audience and streaming in the same city, often covering the same streets. Eventually, their paths crossed, and that's when things started to go wrong. It all took a serious turn in the summer of 2023. Witnesses and sources claim that City Manny Wise pepper-sprayed Tanisha Bubbly Finley during a public clash. The video of that moment quickly went viral, and the online world lit up with reactions. Though many were troubled, Manny's fans tried to defend his behavior. Finny, of course, was furious. Not one to stay silent, Finny took to his platform and began calling out Manny Wise. He publicly criticized Manny's actions, shared his version of events, and uploaded videos reacting to the incident. Once a private fight over space and audience, their feud was now very much in the open. Things got even worse when Manny started filing copyright claims against Finny's videos. These online conflicts were becoming more than just lighthearted discussions. They were evolving into digital warfare. Both creators began making regular content aimed at each other. There were often back-and-forth insults, reaction videos, and live stream rants. What made things worse was how their audiences got involved. Fans picked sides. Comment sections on the internet became battlefields. While some tried to defuse the situation, the majority only made it worse. It became evident that the rivalry had grown into something more sinister than a harmless one. The lines between entertainment and real-life anger were getting blurry. What began as 2 creators working the same scene had now become a personal and public war. And although it all appeared to be internet drama to some, it was gradually developing into something far more serious. It was a typical busy night on the Las Vegas Strip. Bright lights, packed sidewalks, and the sound of music and chatter in the air. On June 8, 2025, YouTuber Finney the Legend and his wife, Tanisha Bubbly Finley, were doing what they loved, live streaming their stroll near the Bellagio Fountains. That night was no exception to the couple's devoted fan following, which they built up by bringing the thrill of Vegas into people's homes. Their stream was live, and hundreds were tuned in. Around 10:40 p.m., something unexpected happened. Out of nowhere, Manuel City Manny Wise Ruiz showed up on the stream. All of a sudden, the man who had been feuding with Finny for almost 2 years was standing right in front of them. Viewers could immediately feel the tension in the air. The livestream captured what quickly turned into a heated exchange between the two men. The tone made it obvious that things were getting out of hand quickly, even though it was difficult to hear the exact words over the chaos. There was yelling. One can hear Tanisha trying to defuse the situation. But then, within seconds, Manny Wise allegedly pulled out a gun. Without much warning, 7 shots rang out. The strip was filled with screams as nearby tourists ran in all directions. The camera shook, the video went blurry, and then the live stream abruptly cut off. Witnesses were shocked. Emergency services were called right away. Despite the swift arrival of police and medical professionals, it was already too late. Tanisha and Finny were both declared dead at the scene. The live viewers were in disbelief at what they had just witnessed. Social media was flooded with fans asking whether it was a real thing or a prank. The following morning, however, it was confirmed. 2 well-known streamers had been murdered in front of one of the most well-known attractions in Las Vegas, while their viewers watched on helplessly from the comfort of their own homes. After the shooting, Manny Wise disappeared. That evening, he made no public remarks or spoke to the police. Locals, friends, and fans waited for updates, and the whole city was on edge. But on June 9th, 2025, the following morning, Manny Wise turned himself in. He was arrested in the neighboring city of Henderson, Nevada. He was taken into custody and charged with 2 open murders with a deadly weapon. During interrogation, Manny claimed he acted in self-defense. He said he thought Tanisha was pointing something at him, and Finny was reaching for a weapon. But neither Finny nor Tanisha had any weapons when authorities examined the area. Security camera footage from the Bellagio and the livestream footage itself, which had already been viewed by thousands of people, soon became the main pieces of evidence. Investigators began reviewing all the videos to piece together the truth. What led to the clash? Who was the first to escalate? And was this a case of a long-standing animosity culminating in violence, or did Manny actually feel threatened? The streaming community was rocked by the incident. A guy ended up behind bars, 2 lives were lost, and the internet was left wondering, at what point does online drama turn into something far more serious? One could easily assume that YouTubers are just individuals with cameras who upload videos, and that they are there for entertainment. But there is a lot of pressure behind the scenes for online personalities, especially when their fame starts to decline. It appeared like City Manny Wise was under increasing pressure. His channel had a large following a few years back. People watched to see what kind of drama he would cause next because of his famously audacious and extravagant attitude. But over time, his views dropped, and fans started drifting away. Finney the Legend, on the other hand, started to gain fame. His streams with Bubbly were more upbeat, enjoyable, and welcoming. They provided a secure, enjoyable diversion from daily life, which was something that people liked. And that kind of shift may bring about deep feelings, jealousy, resentment, even humiliation. For someone like Manny, whose identity had become closely tied to his online persona, watching Finny succeed where he was struggling must have hurt. The cameras weren't just for fun anymore. They became a way to prove worth, to protect ego, to stay relevant. There was more to their feud than content. It had to do with pride, identity, and perhaps even a fear of being invisible. Manny was protecting not only himself on the internet, but also the persona he had built. The loud, confident streamer who couldn't afford to lose and never gave up. At some point, the line between online drama and real consequences became hazy. What began as rival videos and live stream rants slowly turned into something far more dangerous. These were no longer just internet fights. They were personal, emotional, and ultimately deadly. This tragedy reminds us how real the internet can become, especially when people base their self-worth on how many people are watching. Manuel Manny Wise Ruiz was taken into custody and imprisoned after the shooting. He has been charged with 2 counts of open murder with a deadly weapon. He is currently being held in custody without being granted bail while the legal proceedings are underway. He says he thought Finny and Bubbly were about to attack him. and that he reacted in self-defense. But so far, police have found no evidence that the couple was armed. To figure out exactly what happened that evening, investigators are examining the security camera footage, eyewitness accounts, and livestream footage. While the courts sort out the legal side of things, the online community is grieving. Finny and Bubbly's fans were devastated. Candlelight vigils were held in the vicinity of the Bellagio Fountains in the days following their death. While some carried signs bearing their names, others brought flowers. Streamers, fans, and even complete strangers joined in the mourning. Their channels have evolved into homage sites on the internet. People are sharing memories, expressing shock at how things ended, and writing kind comments. The YouTube and live streaming world is shaken. Creators are now having important conversations about safety, boundaries, and how far is too far when it comes to content wars. Some are requesting that YouTube and other platforms intervene more when disputes between creators become heated. In the end, this isn't just a story about a shooting. It is a story of what happens when entertainment becomes toxic, and how real the internet can seem when people lose sight of the boundaries between reality and the screen. Two voices fell silent. What started off as digital drama ended up costing 2 lives. One man now sits behind bars, and questions continue to reverberate throughout an entire city. At what point did entertainment become too much? At what point did content turn into conflict? In chasing views, we forgot the people behind the screens, until it was too late. That was all for today. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the Suspense Room to unlock more stories.